Hey, what's going on everybody? Jason here, and welcome back to another Call of Duty video. Today we have a ton of information about the future of Call of Duty and Warzone. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. And when I say there's a lot to cover, there is a lot to cover. I could really start at any point, but I think where I am going to start with all this information is hearing it from Call of Duty themselves here. They posted a special briefing on the Call of Duty blog about what's going to be happening. It says, Call of Duty Community Update, a Warzone special briefing for our players. Essentially, what this blog post is going to be detailing is their priorities for Warzone for the future, because Warzone really isn't in the greatest state right now. I know modern Call of Duty as a whole isn't in the greatest state, but here we go. Let's just go ahead and jump into this article, starting with our priorities with Warzone. The number one priority for our developers is quality of life, making changes that allow Warzone to be more accessible and less frustrating for our community. That's good to hear. We're off to a good start. Examples of this include over 30 improvements coming at Season 2's launch, including improvements in all platforms of movement, vehicle handling, parachutes deploying at lower vertical height, increased player mantle height, and collision fixes for both vehicles and players. So right away, that already sounds pretty dang good. The gas mask animation no longer interrupting operators who aim down sights. This is a fantastic quality of life improvement because that animation has killed a ton of people. The next one here says, when inserting armor plates, it refills a full plate of armor before filling damaged ones. That is fantastic as well. And speaking about bugs and glitches, some of the other things they're going to try to fix are performance and streaming issues, including buy station freezes, voice chat connectivity, and distorted graphics across all platforms. So those are fantastic things that they need to fix. Obviously, I've come across all of these issues, and that'll be great to see those fixed, hopefully. Specific operator skins being invisible at certain distances. I've seen clips of this, and I've seen a lot of people get frustrated over this one, and that's going to be good to have fixed as well. And then we also have blockages to Modern Warfare multiplayer, which is tied to Warzone's launcher, which, yeah, that kind of goes in hand with Modern Warfare not really being in a playable state right now. So that's good that they're going to be fixing that and hopefully fixing Modern Warfare for people who still play that game. Moving right along in the article, they also address something that people have been asking for a long time. Let's go ahead and read further. In addition to performance improvements across all platforms, we have heard the community loud and clear on their top requests for Warzone. Field of view, FOV sliders on console is one of them. Adding FOV on console in Warzone creates major performance impacts for old-gen console players. Our goal is for Warzone to be a performant experience on all platforms, so we do not plan to implement an FOV slider on console at this time. Keyword is at this time. Who knows, maybe for the future in Warzone 2, we might be getting an FOV slider, but we'll cover Warzone 2 a little bit later down the line. But for those of you wondering if we're going to get an FOV slider for this current iteration of Warzone, that is not happening. The next paragraph is something interesting because they directly address something that people criticize them about. Let's go ahead and read. We also understand that we aren't directly speaking to every community request in official communications, but we are reaffirming our commitment to listening to these concerns and ensuring vigorous and beneficial internal discussions that the developers have about them before solutions, whenever possible, are implemented. So a lot of people criticize them for not communicating properly in official requests, official blog posts like this, and hopefully we get a lot more of that in the future. Lastly, for Call of Duty's official article, they say here, we also plan to give a peek into what's on the horizon in 2022 for Call of Duty. The team is excited to confirm some additional news below. This year's Call of Duty is a sequel to Modern Warfare 2019. Modern Warfare 2, as we all know. The new game and a new Warzone experience are designed together from the ground up, so completely reworked, completely new game. Expect a massive evolution of Battle Royale with all new play space and a new Sandbox Mode, so that's going to be really interesting. I know a lot of other people on Twitter, Charlie Intel, Modern Warzone, they have confirmed these things as well because they had some insight as to what's going to be happening for the next iteration of Warzone and the next game in the series, Modern Warfare 2, which they're going to be built from the ground up, new engine, new everything, and they're going to be completely separating Warzone 2 from the current iteration of Warzone that we have right now, which I'll get into a little bit later. Development on both the new Call of Duty and the Warzone experience is being led by Infinity Ward, which we all saw that one coming because it's Infinity Ward's turn to make a Call of Duty game this year, and obviously Warzone was added to Modern Warfare, which was also an Infinity Ward game, so no surprise there. Moving on to Charlie Intel's Twitter. On his Twitter, he posted today some other quality of life updates for Warzone coming soon in Season 2 and beyond. Pick up / drop armor satchel if already owned. That's pretty cool. Ability to pick up and drop a gas mask. Ability to control your resurrect state, crouched or prone when downed. Nerfs to gas containers. So these are some very, very interesting changes, especially the resurrect state, crouched or prone when you down. I think this is going to be a very interesting addition. Charlie Intel also shared this interesting quote from Pat Kelly from Infinity Ward. He stated that when, quote, Black Ops Cold War was added to Warzone, Warzone didn't feel like Modern Warfare anymore, but it also didn't feel like Black Ops either. The game just existed. So that's a very, very interesting statement. I think this is really telling as to how frustrated the developers actually are with the state of Warzone, and it's really not where they wanted it to be. And speaking of Charlie Intel and what the developers have to say, on Charlie Intel's website, we have another article about the current state of Call of Duty and Warzone. Warzone devs admit the game is broken and promise to fix it. 3 of Activision's top developers have admitted that they fucked stuff up with Warzone, but are intent on fixing issues, which that's good. At least they acknowledge that the game is kind of broken. Warzone players have been complaining about the state of Warzone for months, with December's Season 1 patch causing a host of issues that left fans frustrated. From console performance issues to buy station freezes, it's been a tough time. In an Activision-hosted call with press and content creators, Infinity Ward co-studio head Pat Kelly, Activision game director Josh Bridge, and Raven Software's Eric Biesman candidly discussed the problems and their plans to fix them. During the call, the trio bluntly stated, "We fucked stuff up," but made promises that these would be addressed throughout the rest of the year. I sure hope so, and it sounds like they are going to be addressed from what we've read. Bridge stated that they were not happy with the state that Warzone finds itself in, and admitted that they had learned the upper limits of their technology as they attempted to integrate games into Warzone over the last couple years, which we'll find out a little bit later on. And like we just read on Charlie Intel's Twitter, that because they're integrating all of these games, Black Ops Cold War and Vanguard, that Warzone kind of lost its identity, and they are really not happy with how it turned out. As for why Pacific Caldera was so messy, Bridge said that he was not there to make excuses, but that the team had great ambitions for the update. Unfortunately, with limited time, they weren't able to complete it as planned, and they pushed for a delay to Season 2 so they could ensure the game was in a stable state. Where have we heard that one before? I think a lot of Zombies fans will think that's kind of a familiar statement there, with the devs are rushed, they have to push things back, things are released in a buggy state. I think this is very telling, and a lot of people don't consider that the developers are really crunched for time here, and I really do feel bad. I mean, the developers are super passionate about the games that they make, and the fact that these extremely crazy things are happening with the game, there's so many things happening all at once, and they just aren't able to do it to the best of their ability because they have to rush and put things out, is really telling to the state of what's going on in Call of Duty. While the 3 were very candid about the issues facing the game, they were also hopeful for the future and promised that they are determined to fix the issues with the game after using social sentiment and crash-related reports to track the problems. Encouragingly, they also emphasized that they plan to provide better communication with their fan base about fixes for issues while focusing more on quality of life improvements rather than just new features all the time, which we read about the quality of life improvements earlier, and I think this is a good thing. And before we get into any other news, I find this really, really funny. Also interesting, says Charlie Intel, they said Gulag was added to Warzone because in internal tests, they saw campers were taking down players who love to run around, so they wanted the run and gunners to have a second chance. That just speaks volumes to the player base in Warzone and how campy it is, I think. Another thing that franchise director Patrick Kelly said, which Patrick Kelly has been the one who's been very vocal about addressing all these issues with Warzone, he also stated how adding more buy stations may have been the wrong move in hindsight, as it took away the looting/discovery phase and made the game all about getting your loadout immediately. That was never the goal, which I can actually see that, because Warzone being a battle royale mode, you know, you have a lot of weapons on the ground, you have equipment on the ground, there's a lot of looting involved, and sometimes you have to find the best weapons around the map in order to get an edge on people, but with the loadout drops, you can just get your loadout whenever. And because there's so many buy stations out there, yeah, a lot of people do just go for their loadout drops. And I think this is a very, very interesting quote. Another thing about the future of Warzone here, said by Pat Kelly, is that he's extremely excited for this year's game and says there's a lot in it, and also teased some big updates with the new Sandbox Mode. He also said, doesn't matter what I hype up, we all will be the real judge of it when it launches, which is very true. And before I go any further, I just gotta say great job to Modern Warzone and Charlie Intel and all these other guys who were there in the call, taking in all the news and reporting it all today. You guys are doing a really good job with reporting this news. Moving right along here, we have Warzone Devs confirm plans to add ranked play to the game. Obviously, we've had ranked play in previous iterations of Call of Duty, and now we're going to be getting ranked play in Warzone in the future. So here we go, back on Charlie Intel's website with his article detailing ranked play in Warzone. With the success of Iron Trials, players have been desperate for Devs Raven Software to add a dedicated ranked mode. In a call with content creators and the press, the devs revealed that they want to include a ranked mode, but it's down to the timing of it. Speaking to content creators and the press on February 10th, Bridge confirmed, "We want to do ranked right, but they need to consider the timing of it." Bridge reiterated that they want to do it right and they don't want to come out and do it broken, which a lot of other things in Warzone have been broken, and of course they addressed that Warzone is broken, so good. I hope that they do ranked Warzone right. As for a ranked play release date, Bridge couldn't offer one, explaining that "I just don't have a place on the calendar for that," he said. Timing is critical and they need to weigh the amount of uplift for it versus other features, which I can definitely agree. I think there are a ton of other issues in Warzone that need to be fixed right now, as opposed to, them adding a ranked play mode and then ranked play is super broken and then they have to cover a lot more ground with trying to fix 2 game modes or even 3 or 4 game modes with Plunder and Rebirth and things like that. I think they need to definitely fix the problems with the game right now and then work on ranked play. And one more thing before I wrap up this video, we have Charlie Intel here saying the devs also said actions speak louder than words and they are working to make updates starting with Season 2 to fix the game, and that they will not make excuses for how messed up it is right now. Also stated launching Caldera in December before the holidays was a mistake, which I think a lot of people would agree with that it was a mistake because of how broken and buggy Caldera is, and really just the entirety of Warzone and how buggy and broken that has been. Well, anyways, guys, that was a ton of news pertaining to the future of Call of Duty and the future of Warzone. Look at all of these tweets that Modern Warzone and Charlie Intel had to put out. I mean, these guys are absolutely insane. Huge shout out to these guys because they covered the news very, very efficiently, and I highly recommend that you guys go check them out because these guys are some of the most dedicated people in the Call of Duty community, and I think they did such a great job with handling the information today. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video, and I hope you all enjoyed. Are you guys optimistic about the future of Warzone and Call of Duty, or are you not? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, leave a like and subscribe if you're a brand new viewer, and check out all the links down below in the description so you stay up to date with everything that I do. And with that said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, depending on where you are in this crazy world, and I'll see you guys next time.